Here is my stracciatella gelato recipe. It basically is a half-gallon milk, a pint of heavy whipping cream. You put those in, heat them up to 170 Fahrenheit, and then you add the dry ingredients: 2 cups of sugar, 6 tablespoons of cornstarch, and a small amount of sea salt. After it cools down, I throw in some vanilla, but it depends on what I'm making with the base. I usually don't put the vanilla in, I just put it in when I'm putting it in my ice cream machine. And then I like a dark chocolate to melt and put stripes in when everything's cooling down, so in the ice cream machine. One trick I like to use is a gallon bag to mix my dry ingredients in. I put the sugar, the cornstarch, and salt in. I twist it up and shake it. That way the cornstarch, when I pour it in, doesn't get clumpy. It mixes really well and goes into the liquid real easy. Okay, I have the milk and cream in my pan. I'm going to heat it up to about 170. I'm going to stir it so that nothing sticks to the bottom. And I save the half-gallon milk jug so that when I put my first batch of base into the Cuisinart ice cream machine, I can put the excess in my half-gallon milk jug, and I could put that in the fridge, and then it will freeze up pretty quick. Okay, we're getting close to 170. So I watch this, gets above 160. So typically you just don't want to make sure it doesn't get to 180, but I stir this. When it hits 170, I'll turn off the heat and dump my dry ingredients in and continue stirring till that's all the way in. So it's 170, so I'm going to turn it off so I can do those steps. Okay, I've turned off the heating element. I put in the dry ingredients, and now I'm just mixing to make sure it's really well mixed. And then I typically don't let this cool on its own all the way down to room temperature. I usually let it cool a little bit, but you can actually get a skin to form on top if you let it cool all the way. So I'll end up pouring a portion of this into my Cuisinart ice cream machine, and then I'll put the rest in the empty half-gallon jug to cool off, and eventually go into the fridge to cool off even more. I now have one batch of the gelato base in my Cuisinart, and this one I basically just set it for 60 minutes. This is pretty hot, so it might actually take longer than that. If you don't have an ice cream machine with its own pump, put the base in the fridge. If you're worried about a skin forming on it, you can put a layer of saran wrap over the surface, and then that'll keep it from forming a skin. And again, I have the half-gallon jug has the leftover gelato base, and that's in my fridge right now, cooling off for the next couple batches that I do of this. So I'm going to start it now, and we'll add the vanilla. And for each one of these, I don't know, I put in probably a tablespoon or so of vanilla. But I'm going to start this, and we'll come back when it's thickening up. I've already added the vanilla. I added about halfway through, but it's pretty thick right now, so we're about ready to eat. I decided not to melt the chocolate and do stracciatella. That way my kids can all decide what they want to mix into it. Since it just was Christmas, they've got a bunch of different candies they can put in. We've got some frozen fruits or some fresh fruits that they can each put in what they want. In general, I like to not put the vanilla into the base until after I use it. If I'm going to do something like mint chocolate chip, I will chop up about a cup of mint leaves pretty fine and put it into the milk jug that has the extra kind of the leftover base in it, and of course not add vanilla, and then I let it cool down in there, and then I pour it through a strainer into the ice cream maker so that you don't get the chunks of mint leaf in it. But it turns out to be a really good, really fresh tasting mint, and you can do mint chocolate chip. Anyway, hope you have success in making gelato. It's a good recipe.